This is a Tape Deck podcast.
Hello, and welcome back to We'll Run For. This is your host, Tom, and with me, as always, are Erin.
Hello.
Michael.
Hello.
And Diana.
Hello.
How's it going, everyone?
I don't know. How are you, Tom?
Fine. I'm fine.
How's it going? I mean,
Here's the thing.
also, this is probably going to come out before.
Way before
You guys hear what happened yesterday.
I don't know if we have many Runner Studios in the bank before.
We have none.
We have none. Okay.
Nope.
Okay. Nope. So spoiler alert.
Meg will be next week. Yeah.
And just a little programming note. I apologize, but yesterday we recorded 4 inside the Runner Studios.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this is directly after we went out and had bottomless brunch.
Yep.
So orange crushes, Bloody Marys, and mimosas. And
Tom was mixing all 3.
I apologize in advance for the quality of my portions of those inside the next 4 inside the Runner Studios.
The next 4.
Listen. Can I ask you a question, Tom?
Yes, ma'am.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, ma'am.
He has no recollection. He said today that he doesn't remember anything.
Can I ask?
Wait
because I kept
comes
saying
out.
that. I know.
I think you asked more. I will say that you got more sober as they went along.
That's true.
So Mike didn't get a lot of "Can I ask you a question?"
That's true. There were less questions.
But Meg's episode probably runs probably a little long.
Look,
there was a lot of bonus questions.
I apologize. This is a professional medium.
It's almost like, when was it? A couple of years ago when we went out for his birthday. And that's what this was. It was for his birthday. We went out and he got so lit that he put our stuff in somebody else's car. And then we had to go into the back of that stranger's car to get our stuff out.
Oh my God.
It was almost that bad. But I said, we got home. We were scheduled to get on at like 2:50. We got home at, I think, 2:15. And I said, I'm going to walk the dog. Why don't you set up while I'm out walking the dog? And when I walked back in the house, he was in bed snoring.
Look,
I had to shake him awake. And then later that night, he's like, I can't believe I slept all those hours today. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he thought we got home at noon, and he slept from noon until 3.
Which apparently wasn't the case.
And I said, I know, because the bottomless brunch ended at noon and you were drinking after the bottomless ended. So then we were having to pay $8 for a drink.
Look.
Oh, God.
Everyone else had stopped.
Here's the thing. If you're going to drink responsibly. Do it in moderation. and
then immediately come home and record a podcast.
Yes. Look. Just a mess.
Oh my God.
But so there might be a little sloppiness on the next couple inside the Runner Studios. And that's all I got.
And apparently he did not sleep at all last night because it was hot in the house.
It was so hot.
I was like, I slept fine. I don't know.
Oh my God. Well, speaking of programming notes, we have this episode that's out today. It is the 12th. We'll drop a Inside the Runner Studio of Drunk Tom with Meg on the 19th. We'll be back for the 26th, a regular episode. The 3rd of July, we will not have an episode at all.
Holiday.
Because it's the holiday. The 10th, we will return with another Inside the Runner Studio.
Part 2 of being drunk.
Just because.
And that'll be Brianna.
Michael and I. Yes, we've decided we're dropping. We don't normally.
Oh, they're going to be in order.
We don't always drop them in the order in which we record them.
Oh, they're going to be in order.
But we have decided that for special reasons, these are going to go in the order in which they were recorded.
Everybody will experience the evolution.
Further down the spiral.
The 10th, because Michael and I are still away on vacation the previous week, we will drop Brianna on the 10th.
Yeah.
And then hopefully be back on the 17th for a regular episode. But we haven't actually talked to Tom and Diana about what their recording schedule looks like the 13th through the 16th of July yet. So we'll discuss that right after this episode ends. And just wanted to drop that little note there for you.
Yes. Make sure you listen to the Runner Studios in order, everybody.
just to see the progression.
The chaos.
Poor Meg, honestly.
Oh my God.
She got the worst of it. Yeah.
I'll be honest. Yeah. I feel like I sounded fine.
Oh, man.
All I could think of the entire time was, I can't believe Michael has to edit this somehow.
Michael? Do we have any new 5-star reviews?
We do not.
Okay.
But maybe we'll get some after those Runner Studios drop.
Man. 5-star reviews after those?
You never know.
You never know.
Yeah. I think that you're lying, and we did get a review because I remember seeing it. So I'm going to jump in here and read this lovely review from DW4Me. Another amazing episode. You guys just keep it real. It's easy to talk about successes and medals, etc., but it's nice to hear you sharing when things don't go right. #blisters. Yuck.
Yeah.
Yuck.
It was after blister weeks.
But this is the reality of running. Lots of ups, but also lots of downs.
True that.
Thank you for that review.
Tom, are you still running for reviews or
sure
doing things for reviews? What's the new ante for giving a review?
That's a good point. I mean, Tom, really, you haven't done too much since the saunter, so you need some motivation to get back out there.
I do need motivation. No, I'm still doing 5 miles for every 5-star review. So I know we have some newer listeners or some people that might not have left a review before. So if you do, you'll get your miles and we'll tag you in a story, and we really appreciate it. And that's a great segue into what are we running for this week, because I'll go first.
Oh, God.
This coming Saturday is officially, I'm kicking off fall marathon training this weekend.
Nice.
Hallelujah, because I have been a slob. I've done nothing. Slub?
Slub?
Is that our word?
No Schlubs Club.
I've been a schlub is what I've been. So I'm happy to get back into a good training cycle, and it's gonna be a tough start, but I need those 5-star reviews to get me out the door. So that's what I'm running for this week.
Oh, I love it. Well, 'tis the season, and it's so funny. I actually posted something on my Instagram this morning about how exciting it is when summer first hits and you're all, yes, let's do this. And the first time you have to run in the actual heat, you want to die. But my favorite thing about summer running is I like to get a little treat, a little frozen treat after my long runs. So whether it's like a Slurpee or a Rita's water ice or an icy pop, I don't know. I particularly like a Slurpee. The other day when I went for a run, I came home and I made Tom run to 7-Eleven. I think my exact words were, if I don't have a Slurpee, I'm going to die. Oh my God. I am running for all sorts of ices.
Nice. I'm running for my coach because my coach is telling me that I have to run. So I don't have a choice but to run when she tells me to run. So there you go.
Take the guesswork out of it.
Yep, I like it.
We will chat a little bit more about my new coach.
Love it.
As we get into our training updates. But I'm running for Jess.
Now you're in trained monkey mode where you don't have to think.
Yeah, except that I don't like being told what to do, so it's an interesting dynamic.
Oh,
well,
gotcha.
Let's dissect that when we talk
Good
about
thing
your
you
coach.
got a coach. There you go. Yeah. So I am running for the only running I'm doing right now is in Valheim. I am running to get to the mountains to fight Modor.
Oh, God.
Because I am not running in real life. I am only running in my video games. I should be running in Skyrim, but I'm running in Valheim. Perhaps later in the week, I will run across Skyrim, and that'll be my ultra. But
I don't know what any of those words are.
I know what Skyrim is. I don't know what the other thing is.
Valheim's a new game that I've been playing.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's the only running I'm doing is running from enemies in games.
Are you saying why now or later?
I don't know. I don't know why yet.
No, we don't know why yet. All right. Well, our goal is to find out why you're not running, which you will find out very soon when you have your MRI.
Yes.
And in the meantime.
And now, it's time for our Will Run 4 Goal Getters. Congrats on making your goals, you getters. Oh, who runs this shit?
Awesome. So, Coach Mal, same as usual. This week, my goal is to get up earlier, 5:30, in order to get in my scheduled workout and do the MF strength stretching that I should be doing.
I mean, I could help with her getting up earlier. I could send her Ollie.
Oh,
Who
God.
will then, wake her up 10 minutes before she's supposed to get up, regardless of what time that is.
Miserable.
Oh,
Marathon
God.
training started, and I need to get into a better routine of consistent strength along with my other run workouts. I don't know.
Awesome.
I don't know what's with me right now, but I'm with you, Mal. Like, I used to get up so early to run, and now it's just later and later. So I'm with you there.
All right. We got Megan Avis, still looking for my motivation to run more than once a week, but met my goal of bringing my lunch and snacks to work almost every day.
That's a good
That's
goal.
a great
That's a
goal
great
because
goal.
that's my goal for this week as well.
Yes,
so
we
I
have that
really,
goal,
I
so,
really like
yeah.
that.
Great goal.
Eco Fit. I hit state number 23 in Wyoming this past weekend, 24 in Montana next weekend. Still going strong on her 10,000 step goal. Hiking in the Grand Tetons and Yellowstone helps. Sorry, no dog or bunny content this week.
Oh, well,
Where's the buffalo content?
Oh,
She did also add a comment later that said she also didn't get eaten by a bear whilst out there.
That's
that's
good.
fair.
So,
That's
I mean, that feels like a good goal.
It's a good
important.
goal.
yeah. I was actually watching her. She had such great content over the weekend when she was
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
the Teton.
Gorgeous.
Teton.
Teton.
Yeah. So pretty. Melissa Harrell says, I have consistently done strength training since March. All these people with strength training.
I know.
Some might call it PT, but whatever.
Oh, God.
All right. Well, I get that. I understand where she's coming from on that one. I will continue this pattern and run 3 to 4 times weekly to build up my endurance again for late summer and fall races. Which one of those late summer races we will see her at?
Yeah,
When we
hopefully
are-
I'll be running it.
Oh, man.
For what? Which way?
In Oregon.
Ah,
When we do the hood to coast, coast to hood, hood to coast, hood to coast
Hood to coast.
oh.
relay with Melissa and Erica.
Joapat, to get my mental health in order to align with my physical and spiritual health. I love that. I've been saying
Yes.
2023 is the year of mental health.
Yep.
Those are my goals this year. So I'm with you.
We have Laura Duxon. Small goal. Just want to earn the Garmin badge for 4 hours of strength training done in June. I've been more consistent with strength exercises, but definitely can do better. Everyone's got the strength training goals.
Yep. And
Yeah, a lot of strength training.
and Laura's been up in it with the baby and dog content.
I know.
So
Yes.
little
yes.
Donald in there. Bennett to win it. Just ran a 15K and barely missed my goal. A sub 123.42, but crushed my B goal, a sub 130, by finishing in 124.30. My God. Fuck, it's fast.
I would just like to, can we talk about how specific these goals were? Because I read this last night and I was like,
Very, yeah.
the goal was a sub 1
120.
hour, 23 minutes and 42 seconds.
I assume that was would have been a PR.
That is a very specific goal.
That's my
but then the B goal is a 30-30.
1:30:30.
Like with an extra, the extra 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So they gave themselves the 30-second wiggle
Maybe that's a
room.
specific pace goal or something.
I just thought it was funny.
Love it.
They're very specific. I like it.
I do too.
Oh, so going for sub 2 in Birmingham.
Yep.
That's a
And then
good
my
course
next
for
goal
sub
is
2.
a sub 2-hour half marathon in Birmingham in September. Good luck with the hills
race
and the
for that.
heat.
Yeah, it could be hot.
Be
that is true.
be kind
That's
to
fair.
yourself. I have faith,
Yeah.
but be kind.
Yeah.
You got Miles and Crowns.
Oh.
All the strength training until the end of July.
Oh my God. All the strength
For real.
training.
The strength training.
Seriously.
Everyone with the strength training.
Be something to it.
Might be something. And then our pal Run Disnerd, newly engaged
Oh my God, another
Run
one.
Disnerd,
Yeah.
complete a 4-week strength training program on Peloton before starting my goofy challenge training.
Everybody's strength training. Where's all strength training?
Where was this last year when you guys needed to motivate me to strength train?
I should probably be strength training.
I
hurt.
I
but-
don't even want to talk about that.
What?
The fact that I keep telling you should foam roll or strength train.
Oh, I'm doing a ton
or
of it.
Do something.
Yep, when we
Do
get to our
I am
dates.
doing
Yep.
something. I am building in Valheim right now.
It's true. It's very important work.
God.
Somebody
my
has to establish a colony
God.
in Valheim.
Oh my God. All right. Jamie sent an email and said, I'm finally back to being able to run a race without stopping and walking.
Whoop, whoop.
The last 6 months has been a struggle regaining my confidence in my knee. In the past month, I've completed Jiggy with the Piggy 5K, the NCRC 10K, Alabama Brown Alumni 5K.
I think that's just Al Brown or A.L. Brown
Oh,
because he doesn't live in Alabama.
okay. It's
Who is Al Brown?
It's capitalized. I don't know.
Maybe it's A.L. Brown.
I don't know. It's but the A and the L was capitalized, so I
There you go.
went with that. Anyway, and this past Friday's China Grove Main Street 5K. My overall times are off by 2 to 3 minutes, but I will get back to where it used to be. I'm sticking with my current plan to build back and get my revenge on the half marathon in Myrtle Beach in October. On a side note, it's, as always, a blast seeing y'all in Raleigh. I appreciate letting me be a third wheel and for not letting toxic masculinity get the better of you, Michael.
I love that.
It's fair.
I also love seeing Jamie get back out here because I remember, what was it, like last fall? He went through that thing that all runners do when they first get really
Yeah.
into it, and then they
Running every single weekend.
run everything you can possibly do, and then immediately get burnt out from that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
We saw Jamie and Run Disnerd in the past couple
we
weeks.
have.
Lucky.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm saying is I could get ordained pretty quickly in Florida.
Oh God.
We also saw Snarky.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We saw Snarky also.
I saw
Yeah.
that.
And then we saw Nikki.
Nikki.
Yeah. We've seen a lot of people.
We were in Disney for a day and a half with all those people.
Yeah, that
We
is
were.
weird. Everyone was down there Memorial Day weekend, it feels like.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what it was.
it was
And so we
Memorial Day
just
weekend.
ran into people kind of on purpose, but not really. Like it was the one day we definitely ran into them on purpose. Like I texted and said, well, we're walking
Oh,
towards
yeah.
People Mover. Be over there or we're never going to see you.
Yep. All right, our friend Snarky Snacker. To actually hydrate with electrolytes since Florida summer running season is here.
Good idea.
That's a
Yeah.
good idea. I just need to hydrate in general. That also could be why I felt like garbage at my race on Saturday.
Oh, that
yeah,
could be.
that whole hydration thing. I've been trying to be better about that as well. I've been waking up and drinking 12 ounces of water every morning. Beautiful Chaos says 2 weeks till Grandma's marathon. Can't wait to be a marathoner.
Awesome.
I hear Grandma's is one of the best too.
Yeah.
I have no idea
So
what
is-
that is.
It's
It's like a net downhill,
Yeah.
so like it's a really good BQ course.
Nice. Good luck. All right, Runcation Dreaming. Setting a goal for June/July to take a break from racing and focus on nutrition and strength. Go, another strength trainer.
Yeah, more strength training. Craig Skitty Cat, because I know how to say your last name, Craig.
Skinny cat.
And now I just like saying it because it's such a fun name. 125 miles for the month of June, including 5.3 miles on my 53rd birthday. Happy birthday. If we
Happy
haven't,
birthday.
I feel like maybe I saw on Instagram that it already happened. So happy belated birthday.
All right, and Rachel likes to run. Start of summer vacay / no daycare survival half marathon training. So got a lot going on.
Yikes. Yeah. Hard to get those run in with no daycare.
Yes.
Kate, who had a beautiful baby girl.
Yep.
My husband finally starts first shift. That means weeknight runs can start.
Yes. And she's not going to have a meltdown because she's home alone with 3 children in the evenings anymore.
Oh.
So, yay.
Do we want to get into our topics?
Yeah.
Sure. What are we talking about this week?
Well, first, we're going to talk about your new running coach.
Our
Oh,
training
is that what we
updates.
decided? Is that what we decided? We're talking about me first?
I think so.
Cool.
Sure. You're first on the list, so there you go.
I am first on that list.
And that was just my arbitrary list of, I have to remember what we're talking about. So you're welcome.
Well, I'll briefly tell you all that I ran another half marathon.
Oh, yeah.
NCRC. This was the accidental half marathon. For real, though, when I signed up, I thought I'd clicked the 10K, and because the race is not very expensive, it didn't seem out of the realm of possibilities that the 10K was this price. So, like, when I clicked it, I definitely thought I clicked the 10K, and then I looked at my registration and went, well, sign up for the half marathon. I guess we'll see what we can do.
Who are you, Greg and Orlando?
And pretty much I wasn't really sure if I was going to go down there and do it, but I ended up doing it. So it went okay. I blew out my quads again, running up and down hills. Couldn't move for another couple days. So I'm definitely able to run a half marathon. It's not very comfortable, and I don't recommend doing it the way that I'm doing it.
No. And I mean, I feel like that's how, like, you ended up in the situation that you were in before. So I'm excited to hear about, like, everything you're doing with the coach. Because before, like, you ramped yourself up, I think, like, way too quickly. And when I'm seeing you do all these half marathons again, I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Calm it down.
I know. It's fine. I knew that it was going to be trouble, but that's why I hired a coach. So we kind of talked last week or last episode that I was in the market for one. I ended up going with a coach, Jess. She is Smiles and Miles training or coach. I probably should have looked that up before.
Well, I also put you on the spot and made you go first.
Oh,
so
it's
this
right
is
there.
all my fault.
Smiles and Miles is the name of her. She's just an individual coach. Though. She's not like with an organization. It's just her individual. I found her primarily through kind of looking at the Trail Sisters website, and I was looking at the ultra coaches, and then she was also, I had said that I had messaged David and Megan Roach, and they gave me her name also, so it sort of kind of confirmed. I went out to a couple other coaches. Some weren't taking new people. One seemed really way too intense for what I was looking for, because I'm just kind of looking for someone who's chill.
And like, Smiles and Miles seems like the right vibe.
Yeah, like she just she was very laid back. We talked about, like, you know, life is life, and like life needs to take priority sometimes, and you can't, like, you got to move your training around to accommodate what's happening in your life, not the other way around. Like, you don't, accommodate your life for your training. So
Yeah.
I kind of liked that attitude because we've talked a lot about that on this podcast, that, training plans are great, but sometimes you can't always stick to the exact way that it goes.
Yeah.
So I like that she seemed to feel like we could adjust pretty easily. She's also very chill and like she's not super data driven as far as like everything is done on like by looking at different apps or different I can't think of the name of the couple of the apps that coaches use off for some reason. I'm blanking right now, but like where they look at your thresholds and they look at like where you are, like where every single mile was and everything, like all of that data is there for her if she wants to see it. Like she connected with me on Strava, but that's not like to her. What's more important is like the subjective data of like, how did you feel? What, like, were you feel what was going on in your life? Do you have like your period? Do you have like stress going on at work? Like, what are the extenuating circumstances outside of the running that could cause issues with your actual running?
Did you and Michael get in a weird argument right before you went out?
Yes. Like that's like, so there's like an adventure log that she has that's sort of just like, it's more subjective driven. So that we can kind of talk about like, how did you feel during your run? Like, do you have any health notes? Like so you can like note my hamstring was bothering me. This was bothering me. So I liked the structure that she talked about, that it wasn't going to be so intense. Starting out it's a little difficult for me. She gave me my first few weeks, and as Diana nicely pointed out, I like to go all into things. So
which is a good thing 99% of the time. I do not want you to hurt yourself. And I say it because I love you.
But when I see like my first run is a 20-minute run, and then my second run is like a 45-minute long run. And then the next week is like, it's literally like 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 45 minutes this week. So, I mean, mileage wise, if I hit 10 miles, I'll be lucky this week.
Yeah.
And like in my brain's immediately like, is 20 minutes even worth running?
Okay.
Like, and I have to like trust the process. I understand, like even in like the thing, like in my like little like workout notes, I was like, I'm trying to trust the process because like 20 minutes seemed really short.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, I appreciate you trusting what we're doing because right now we're just trying to build like some consistent run layers first. You have fitness, but like we need to get like consistency.
Yep.
So the idea right now is consistency. So I have 4 run days. The way we're kind of structuring it, Monday will be my rest day. Tuesday will be an easy run. Wednesday will be whatever workout is like a workout day.
Yeah.
So like in a couple weeks, she's got like hills on here, I think. Yeah, she's got a hills workout. And then Thursday will be a Peloton day that I can do a Peloton ride. Friday will be a super easy short run. And then Saturday will be my long runs. And because I asked her if I can keep a long ride, she is letting me right now keep Sundays as a long ride day.
You and the long rides. I cannot do it. Like I want to get on the Peloton for 20, maybe 30 minutes and then get immediately off. Like I want just enough. And you like are on there for hours.
I think that part of it is that I saw how like it really helped keep my endurance like strong by doing some of the like easier, like keeping your heart rate down in like the lower zones, not like,
yeah.
So I think that because I saw how vast that was like worked for me, I kind of want to keep that as part of my structure for right now while I'm still not doing long runs.
Yeah.
So that when I do start running longer, my endurance is still able to be there. Now, the kicker is I looked at the schedule and I was like, oh, this is like not really a lot. And I was like, I don't really, and then I didn't realize that there was a whole nother tab.
Oh, okay.
And And the amount of strength training.
Speak of the devil.
I looked at her, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to die. She has like leg workouts and like, so pretty much 4 days a week, she has a leg workout. She has a warm-up routine for every single day. I'm doing something, which is just like leg swings, like backward and forwards, like lunges, dynamic stretching.
Do you get on the pony and off the pony?
Yeah. And then things like that. And then my workout. And then there's always like 4 days a week, there's a leg workout of some kind. And then 3 days a week, there's a core workout. Yep. And then 3 days a week, there's a mobility workout. So on some of those days, they're stacked. So like on Wednesdays, there's a leg workout plus a core workout. On Thursdays, there's a leg workout plus a mobility workout.
And what's a mobility workout?
So mobility is like the things like she calls it on here the world's greatest stretch. It's like when you go down kind of into plank position and then bring your leg up into runner's lunge and then put your arm up in the air to like stretch like your core too.
Gotcha.
And then like when you're kneeling and you drive your hips forward to like stretch them. Ankle mobility. So she has like where you put your foot on the ground and then you have to like pretty much try and move your ankle in circles, which is way harder than I ever imagined it to be. Because in my head, I'm like, oh, I can't move my ankle that way. My ankle does not move that direction.
Yep.
And then what's the other things? Abductor rocker. So basically when you're like your legs are spread out and then you just like rock back and forth.
How is it tracking after the run? Because I always feel like in my brain, I have every good intention of actually like jotting some of that down, like how I felt or stuff that like, and I just have not gotten to that point where I'm able to do that yet. I think
that it is helpful that like this is the form of communication that we have for the most part is through this like document. So it makes it easier to go in and write something for her. So right now it's good, but it's really only like 5 days in. So she did have me writing it like last week before we even officially started, just so that we could start to like get to know each other and like get a feel for like what I was doing and that kind of thing.
Yeah. And does she have like a goal that she's trying to get you to?
Well, so there's like the upcoming races that I filled in where I put Loopy Looper that I possibly want to do part of the 12-hour, but not so much because I want to do 12 hours, but because I plan to run with Tom or walk with Tom or whatever with Tom. So I don't have a distance goal for that. And then I told her that I want to be able to get to pacing Greg for 20 miles by the end of September. So that would be the first big goal on my calendar. And then we have a call on like a FaceTime type call or a Zoom type call on Wednesday to kind of go over my questions, which some of it is like, what can I put on my calendar?
Yep.
Yeah.
I guess I also ran NCRC Classic.
Mm-hmm.
What happened? We haven't talked to you, I don't think.
Let's see. Well, if we remember, prior to Jersey Devil 100, I had to shut down training because I had what felt like a shin splint or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I felt fine during the race. I felt fine mostly after that. I ran a bunch after that. I was just looking through Strava because I can't remember. I don't know. I can't remember 5 minutes ago. I don't know how I'm going to remember what I ran. But I ran a bunch of miles after that.
Yeah, I feel like I remember you being out.
Yeah, and then I went and ran NCRC. And I was going to run it, try and sub 2. So I was going to run it for time. And it starts off downhill, like bombs downhill. Pretty good for the first, 2 miles or downhill?
Yeah,
for the
I mean
most part.
it's a pretty straight downhill at the beginning of it.
Yeah, so I don't know. I got about
I think it's about a mile.
mile and a half. What was I, about a mile or two in when I met you?
I don't know.
Maybe 2 miles in. All of a sudden, I felt something in my like shin calf area,
Oh,
and
God.
I was like, so I pulled over and stopped and waited for Erin, and then actually just ran the rest of it with her. So my splits are very strange on that race. So then I was like, all right. So I'm sure I annoyed everybody who was around us. Because I was walking all the downhills for the most part and running up the hills because I didn't want to do any damage running downhill by pounding downhill.
It hurts your quads so bad.
No, my legs were totally fine. Like I wasn't sore at all.
I think it was because his ankle. So like where it's bothering him, where the shin is, because your
the
ankle
way my foot was
is
landing,
this way,
Gotcha.
like it's pulling. It like was pulling his.
So
shin.
I couldn't. Just to be careful, I took it very easy on the downhills and ran the uphills. Definitely annoying everybody around me who was struggling uphill, and then like would randomly sprint if I had to stop to catch up to her and stuff like that.
Well, that's right. That was the race I was really mad at the end. I cursed a bunch, didn't I?
I think so, probably.
I just remembered that.
So anyway, I've shut it down since then. I have an MRI finally a week and a half, 2 weeks later, over 2 weeks later now, isn't it?
It's been a while.
Jesus, it's a long time.
Well, it's because you had issues getting anyway.
Yeah, it's hard getting appointments and stuff for all that.
Yeah.
And then
So my follow-up is until the 12th anyway. So I got the MRI. I just got to find out what it is exactly. Like if it's a shin splint, fine, I can let it heal.
Yeah.
If it's any kind of stress reaction or stress fracture, it doesn't seem to be a stress fracture most likely, but maybe a stress reaction. I don't know what the difference is. Whatever. Regardless, something's going on. So I have not been running. Or I tried Pelotoning a bit. I don't really like Pelotoning.
I saw you on the bike. Like, I got like a request.
Yeah, it's okay. Like, I'll probably hit it again. I don't know. I'm just going through a down period right now where I just don't care.
Yeah.
So I'm just like taking it as rest time. The thing that sucks for me is before Jersey Devil, I was in a really good flow and in really good shape. And then after it, actually, I was feeling really good and like getting on the run every street in the different towns thing again.
Yeah.
And then this happened at NCRC. So it's like
a stress reaction is the precursor to a stress fracture.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Just so you know. I wasn't 100% sure if there was what the difference was.
Yeah. I'm not in a boot or anything yet.
So if you catch it early enough, then
it'll heal.
It'll heal on its own.
So I don't know. It's probably going to be a solid 6 weeks where I'm not going to run, I guess, right?
I mean, you might. At this point, even if it's a shin splints can take a full month, 4 to 6 weeks to recover from either way. So no matter what, to play it safe.
Yeah, it'll probably be after vacation, most likely.
Yeah.
That I'll run. So mid-July.
Yeah, Ryan, I feel like, has been nursing shin splints for a while, like, because he got them right at the beginning of dopey training and then ended up having to kind of skip a bunch of the runs and all of that. And then I was a big whiny baby at the race over the weekend, and I think I reactivated his shin splints.
Yeah, because I want to kind of be ready to at least walk loopy in early August.
Yep.
And then be able to actually do labor pains. Like I have no goal for loopy now. I can't because I don't know.
Well, the problem is now with you taking 6 weeks off is that then you're going to get into a pattern that I got into, which was to try and do these long distance races without the build. And you're going to immediately go into trying to run like 50 miles after having not run and cause the injury.
It is loopy what pushed you over the edge last year.
Yes.
Wasn't there something where you're like, I'm just going to go out and I'm going to walk one more, and you're like, that's what killed me?
Well, I mean, at that point, the damage was
already
probably
done.
done,
Yeah,
but it was probably I probably made it as bad as it
Yeah.
was by
Yeah.
continuing on.
Yeah, I don't know. So we'll see what's going to happen at Loopy and what's going to happen. I really want to be ready. Well, Hood to Coast is the main thing since we're traveling. I want to be healthy for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm not too worried about the running fitness. I think I'll be fine even with the time off because I built up enough over the past year.
Yeah.
Where I was pretty consistent from last summer through May.
Yeah.
So it's not like, it should be fine. Like I said, like I didn't run a lot and then I ran NCRC and like my legs were not sore at all. So
Gotcha.
I'm not super concerned, but it just sucks.
You should do the strength training with Erin when she does it, or does she not want you around and she's like me? Who
No,
wants
I
to do it by
told him
yourself?
that I have said since this injury, I've asked him multiple times what he's done to help rehab the shin splints because there's multiple things he could be doing to help if they are shin splints that he should be doing ankle mobility and ankle strength and doing calf strength exercises, even if they're on the floor using like the bands so that he's not putting any pressure on his like body by like standing, because standing strength training they say can be difficult, or it's body weight then that you're putting on it. So without putting pressure on it, there's plenty of other things he could do, but he doesn't like those things, so we're not doing them.
Yeah.
I was going to get a kayak and just start kayaking.
Yeah, be a kayaker.
Who are you, me? Every summer I go through like 3 weeks where I'm like, I'm buying a kayak, guys.
He was looking at them, trying to figure out if they would fit in our shed for a little while. Like,
get one of the collapsible ones. They fold up into like a briefcase.
Oh yeah, that's true. I've heard they're pretty good.
Yeah, our friend Alex has one of those. It's awesome.
Oh my god, it's because he's going through the phase of like, I don't know what to do. Maybe I'll do this. We should get kayaks. We should get bikes. We should get like.
Well, I'll probably after I find out what it is, I'll probably go back to the Peloton if it's feasible. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, you also you said that you had some.
I was having I was feeling it in my calf weirdly, so I wanted to make sure it wasn't like a muscle issue that the Peloton.
I think that he might be like the position on the bike might be off, because he said something about his ankle too. I think he might be a little too high because his foot it may not be as flat as it should be. So I think we just need me to be home so we could see where he's like sitting. So I think if anything, but also like, I mean, I understand kind of like where people are, because I feel like I also felt phantom pains constantly while on the Peloton, even when I don't think that was happening. So it's possible some of it's also not necessarily in your head, but like just you're very aware, you're hyper aware of like every feeling that you have in your body at the moment because you're afraid of injury.
Anyway, that's my injury tale. I'm going through, I don't know. I think am I in the bargaining phase? Is that what phase I'm in at this point?
I have no idea. I feel like we're never going to be at a point where all 4 of us are fully functioning.
I know.
Is that supposed to be a goal? Are we supposed to?
Is that a goal?
Are we all supposed to be running at the same time? Is that?
I think it's funny that I have maintained being a part of this running podcast when I was thinking back about it. Like, I'm like, it's been over a year and a half since I have like solidly like been running, and I have somehow maintained being on the running podcast.
Yeah, but I mean, some of that you were doing what Michael was doing, where you were like, I'm really not supposed to be out here, but I did 15 miles this weekend.
Oh God,
we are not the best examples of
Listen,
what we
have never claimed
to
be people you should.
We're like the cautionary tale of runner podcasts.
Yes. Anybody else not running? Or is everybody else running now?
I'm running.
I'm not running yet, really, but I will be.
What are you doing, Tom?
Starting marathon training.
For
the Ocean City full marathon.
Oh, the Ocean City, Maryland one?
Yeah,
That'll be flat.
at the end of October.
Fast. Flat and fast.
I'll be doing the half.
Are you working in speed work this time, now that you have a base?
I'm going to have to do speed work. I'm going to have to do strength training.
I have a coach.
I say this every time, and I'm like, I'm going to follow a real plan and do everything that I should be doing. And then I go to bottomless brunch and try to record podcasts.
Yep. It's so funny because Megan is always like, I'll put together a specific plan for you, Tom. And then, nope, nothing.
I mean, I am joining Megan's training group.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I mean, that's something.
Yeah. And she gives you what you should be doing on off days. Like you meet with her Wednesdays and Saturdays, but she gives you, if she has you doing speed work on Wednesday, she tells you what you should be doing on Monday and like what you should be doing for strength. So she gives you all of that.
So, I mean, it sort of is like buying a training plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems like it.
But I usually do that as kind of like the socially aspect of running and kind of the money commitment. And then I kind of do a combination of like what she has and then whatever training plan I'm following around that.
Yeah, I was going to say, Diana put together your plan last time. So what's your plan for this one?
I mean, she did it again. She put all of the miles in calendar.
Oh, so Diana already did this for you.
Yes.
What an amazing wife you have.
I am an inspiration.
It's really nice. It's really nice. It takes a lot of the guesswork out of it.
I basically just did our dopey plan, but took away the second long run on Sunday.
Gotcha.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I figured the weekday runs, like they're kind of long near the end, but I figured it's, even if you decide instead of doing 10, you do 8, it's still helpful.
Yeah, it's not that big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you haven't really been doing anything.
That's like the problem for me right now is because like she's only putting 2 weeks ahead. Like I am used like when I did use a training plan, I always knew what my 18 weeks kind of were going to look like.
Yeah.
And so I think only getting 2 weeks at a time while she says she has like the next like couple months forecasted out. I'm like, but
kills you
can't I see what it is?
Absolutely not.
So I'm like, but what about me? So that was definitely a thing I'm struggling with.
This is an exercise in releasing control.
Having Diana give you your plan was very nice of her. Coach, if you're listening, where's my plan?
But I think Tom was in recovery from the Great Saunter because he had humongous blisters on his feet for several weeks.
Oh yeah, how's the blister situation going?
So it's really not his fault he hasn't been out there.
It's just, I mean,
are they peeled?
Yeah, there's still some.
Are they gone?
There's still some residual dead skin hanging
Oh,
out
yeah,
on the bottoms.
Yeah, about 2 weeks ago is when the rest of mine came off from Jersey Devil.
Yeah.
So you should be good soon.
I'm gonna take him because I'm getting like next time I go get a pedicure, I'm gonna bring him and just let the ladies.
And they're just gonna set his feet on fire.
Just get the
the cheese grater.
Yeah, the cheese. That's grate all of that off.
Yeah.
He also has the most disgusting big black big toe I've ever seen. Like
my toenail's starting to grow back.
It's going to fall off. I've been actually training and doing a bunch of stuff. So like I said, my 2023 is my year of mental health. So I have been going to therapy and working on several things. And one of the things is managing my ADHD and getting in a consistent routine. Although Tom did call me out on Saturday or Sunday because I got up and I was going to run and then started organizing my closet. And he was like, this is it. This is the ADHD. This is what this looks like. So, I have been, and this has actually been helping me. I think I talked about this on the night on the last podcast, but the night before I do anything, I've been mapping it out on the Peloton, and I was just picking out like what my ride is going to be. but now I'm building out full stacks even when I'm running outside.
Oh.
So I'm doing like 4 days during the week, and then usually doing some type of stretch on an off day and kind of a long run on Saturday, and then kind of figuring out what I want to do on Sunday. But on one of the days, I do an arm workout every single day. So I do my tune day, and then I'll do a 20 or 30-minute Peloton, and then a strength for runners, and then usually some type of leg stretch. And so I do that like, I don't know, Tuesday, Thursday. And like Monday, Wednesday, I'll do a run outside, although our fitness center just reopened. So I have to go check that out. So I might do some speed work or something. And then I do like an ab something. So I do like an ab workout for runners, and then do either a lower body or a hip stretch or something like that. But I was really proud because even last Friday, it was kind of like, I was like, oh, this is going to be a rest day. And the night before, I picked out a 20-minute Beyonce stretch. So I did like a full body stretch on my off day, and I was very proud of that.
Very cool.
Nice.
Very cool. Yeah.
So picking out what I'm going to do the night before has helped. And it's almost like with that Peloton, how you like getting that blue check. I don't like to have things lingering out there in my stack. So I have to get through all of it. So kind of my goal for this week is, and I've been adding in little by little. So even if it's like make your water bottle the night before, like that's a step. So I've been adding these like kind of little tiny steps along the way. So this week I'm starting to track my calories again. So I did that today. It's only Monday, so we'll see how I do. So that's my goal. But then I'm going to continue to like just add, kind of more things to be. I don't know. Consistency is where I've had a problem. So kind of like with you, Erin, where I'm not going out for like these insane distances or anything like that. I'm just trying to build up the consistency piece again.
Yeah.
Although I'm not as on a strict schedule as you are. So like last Wednesday, I went out and I felt like crap in the morning and I didn't want to go out, and then felt good and ended up doing like 4.5 miles. So I'm not kind of as like, I have to run 20 minutes. It's just, I'm going to run outside and do at least 2 or whatever I say the night before.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I think that as time moves through, even with me, it'll be less strict. I think right now I'm trying to do exactly what's on the calendar because I'm supposed to.
Yes.
But, I mean, that's something we talked a lot about. Like, even if I give you an 8 miler and you go 5 and that's all you felt like you could do, like, something is better than nothing. And then when you're out there for that 5, maybe you'll want to go the 8, so I like the idea that she's not like, you have to do your every single mile.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I'm hoping that I will be in a good place for when I like start training for anything I want to do in the fall, which I don't know yet. I've kind of like my, regular stuff lined up for the fall. We're looking at Susquehanna in September as a half. Because it's supposed to be pretty, but we don't really have anything else on the schedule for the fall other than kind of our normal stuff. But yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling consistent. I'm feeling mentally in a much better place than I have been. So I was actually saying, like, when I was out running last week, I was like, oh my God, I forgot I actually like running.
There you go.
And then I ran on Saturday, and you almost got a quit running a stupid video again.
Oh God, that's amazing.
That's funny. Yeah. I'm I don't know if I also mentioned, I know this because you're talking about mental health. I had an appointment with a mental health coach, like a mental, what is the word? Michelle Kay actually gave me her name. It's like she does her business is a mental skills coach. I'm sorry.
Oh.
That's what I was trying. So like my PCP had suggested possibly going out for to like a sports psychologist to sort of get me over like the mental piece of like constantly always looking back at like what I could do, and like then not struggling to get back out there, or like lack of motivation or fear of injury or like all those things. So I was recommended a mental skills coach who actually ended up as a licensed therapist in New Jersey too. So I've been chatting with her.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that.
And so one of the things that we talked about with like the mental part of it is that a big thing that I struggle with is like, even though it was like the 20 minutes, right? Like I'm supposed to be running really easy where like I don't feel like I'm breathless. So for me right now, that's pretty slow. Like I'm over a 12 for sure. And I know for some people that might be a dream to get to that pace. But for me, like when we were talking about, she was like, well, where were you in 2019? And I was like, well, I could run like a 4:20 marathon. And like now I go out for 2 miles and I'm like, I'm not huffing and puffing is over a 12-minute mile. And that's tough for me. So like learning the skills to get through like those mental hurdles of like, well, what would tell me something that was good about your run? Like, let's not think about what was bad about your run. What was good about your run? And so then she made me like think about like the things that were good about my run.
I think that's awesome. And I mean, sometimes it can even be, I don't know, one of the mornings I was running last weekend, I just, like, it's just summer and it's nice. And I smelled like honeysuckles like throughout my entire run. I was like, oh, it was so nice being out there. So like sometimes it's that how you felt, but then sometimes it's just like the vibes of the day, you know?
Yeah, because like in my brain, I was like, why am I out here? I'm out here for a really short amount of time and I'm running really slow and this is stupid. I don't know why I'm doing this. And she's like, well, then why are you thinking that? Like, let's think about like what was good about it. I'm like, well, it was really, really nice out that morning.
Yep.
Well, so like it was a beautiful morning. Like the sun was out. It was cool. Like it was like that perfect run weather temperature. Like reframe your brain.
Yeah. Do you
so
find
I'm in
it
the middle
hard?
of also trying to reframe my brain at the same time as
I love it. But like again, be kind to yourself and don't try and do like everything all at once. So
yes.
But when you're out doing like what you call like kind of a slower pace, are you like constantly just fighting back that urge to like push it like as hard as you can go?
No, because I feel like when I go faster, then that's when I start to huff and puff and then I'm like, this is stupid and I don't want to be doing this.
Gotcha.
And I know that I can run faster because I just did it during the half marathons, but like also that wasn't fun. Like it was fun because the mentalness of like, oh, I can still do this was fun, cool. But like that was really hard. And that means that if those paces were hard, which is still not where I was, that means that my easy pace should still be a minute to 2 minutes solid slower than those paces, which is what a 12:30 really is for me.
Yeah.
So that's where I should be running for my easy runs right now. It's just hard to like feel like I'm starting over again.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's fine. It's just I gotta like relearn and be okay with that. And now I'm getting help to do that by going to a mental health or a mental skills coach / therapist.
I think that is fantastic. And even like that, like, I don't even know, like, don't even think about it as starting over again. It's just like you're hitting like reset. So,
yes. Which again is like the thought process of like having to like relearn how to reframe what you're doing. You're not starting over. You're not like you're where you are and how and I haven't done that many sessions. So it's like, but it'll be interesting to try and like do that at the same time as trying to like get back to where I am at and like learning how to let go of some of those things that have held me back for the last year and a half.
It's that letting go piece.
So
letting go. That's it. Yep. I'm talking about that too. And I told Tom this and he laughed, but I forget exactly what I was talking about, but I was talking about something like work related. And I said, and I don't know why I constantly do that. And my therapist was like, it's your need for external validation, Diana. And I'm like, oh, yes, that's it. It's like you're getting right into me. But yeah, so I'm feeling, like I said, I'm feeling mentally good. I'm feeling like I'm putting in the work. And I ran the Baltimore 10 miler over the weekend. And I was kind of excited about it because I was feeling like in a pretty good place. We had ran Broad Street, that was 10 miles. I did kind of runs every weekend since then. I wasn't doing like a ton during the week, like a little bit during the week, like I said I'd been doing. And I hadn't done it in a long time. I did it, Tom and I did it, I don't know, what was it, 2 years ago, but it was when they moved it to Hunt Valley.
Yeah.
When we did it with not Run, Eat, Drink.
Running on
Oh,
Tap.
Running
Untapped. When we saw them, and what did they call it? The Hunt Valley Hellscape or something?
Yeah.
Probably.
It was awful.
Which is awful. So I don't know. Somehow in my brain, I was like, God, the Baltimore 10 mile, it cannot be as bad as I remember because, it can't be as bad as Hunt Valley was. Like, I'm feeling pretty good. I swear to God, it was 70 degrees when we got out of the car at 7 a.m. and just humid as hell.
What day was this?
Saturday.
It was Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
yeah, it was humid on Saturday.
It was awful. And then I swear, for like, anybody have those parents that say, I had to walk uphill both ways to go to school? They grew up in that area of Baltimore because it's unbelievable how hilly it is. And I mean, technically it's a net downhill, but you're still going uphill when you're going downhill. And I was feeling okay. And I was running with Ryan and Nicole, so I was probably running a little bit faster than I normally would. And we got down to Lake Montebello, famous
Dave from Wendy's.
Dave from Wendy's. Someone's actually going to think that's real.
Amanda Miles thinks it's real.
And
it's fine.
So we get there, and that's kind of like the turnaround point. And they actually had, I don't know, like they had bananas, and they had Utz potato chips, and like the granola bars.
Which I think is, I was there just cheering, but I think it's weird that they had that kind of food in the middle of a race.
Yeah. For that kind of race.
Like it's a road race, and they had chips at like the halfway point.
Chips are good.
Chips are
great.
Salty.
And so that's what I picked. I picked chips. And then, I don't know, then I started to feel like, I was already starting to feel a little run down, and just, it was so hot and humid. And then I started just loudly complaining about how crappy I felt. And I was like, all right, I just want to like switch the interval, but I think I can get to mile 7. And then we were almost at mile 6, and it was a straight uphill. And I screamed, we're changing the interval right now. Because I do not want to run up this hill. And it felt, I was such an a-hole to Ryan and Nicole. They stayed with me the whole time. I kept telling them they could leave me. And then, I don't know, I think at mile 8, I said to Ryan, I'm not feeling great. I don't feel nauseous, but I feel like if I threw up, I'd feel better.
Yeah.
And then we got to mile 9, and I said to him, I feel like I'm nauseous and I'm going to throw up.
Oh, God.
I felt terrible. And I made them walk out the entire last mile. And I said, you guys don't have to do this. You can. And Ryan, because he said shin splints, was like, no, I think it's okay. Like, I think it'll be weird. And Nicole was like, no, I'll just walk it out with you. And then they typically run towards the chute. So they were starting to run normal, like a little further back than I was going to run. I think they maybe started running at like 0.25 away from the finish line. And I was like definitely going to get to like 0.1 away from the finish line before I started to run through the chute. And so they take off, and then Ryan immediately stops and starts walking. And I was like, I killed Ryan. I broke him because I made him walk that last mile.
Oh my God.
Where he's like, he couldn't even run it out. So I felt so bad. And then I remembered, this is why we stopped doing this race. And it was funny because I was talking to Brianna when we were running Philly, and I said, when are you going to come and run Baltimore? And she's like, Diana, the way you talk about every single race in Baltimore, why would anyone ever want to run?
That's fair. That's good feedback. That's good feedback.
Oh, God.
That's fair. I'm like, that's fair. It's terrible. I want you guys to come and run because I want to run with people, but it is awful, and I will not sugarcoat that. So I remembered why I stopped doing it. I don't think I'll do it again for a while until my brain remembers it again. There was an amazingly cute medal this year because it was 10 years of the different animals at the zoo. So it was very cute.
I don't think I remember seeing the medal in your post. I mean, it was probably there, but I don't remember.
It's super cute and it's big.
It.
And then for some reason, and this is my Festivus airing of grievances about the Baltimore 10 miler. For some reason, Guinness took over at the end. So nothing's like finishing a race in 80-degree weather in June and then drinking a nice cold Guinness after the race. What are they thinking? They had Guinness.
They didn't even have a variety of different Guinness. It was the Guinness.
They had Guinness Blonde, and then they had Guinness Blonde 0 alcohol. You know what's not good? Guinness Blonde.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It is a very cute medal because it's got look at the giraffes with their sunnies on.
Oh, it's so cute.
And the little flamingo, the polar bear, the cheetah. Oh my gosh, it's really cute.
Yeah. So all of those were individual medals. So I had one with the flamingo from when I did it. I think I have one with the little tiger. So the medal was great. They put on a good event. The after parties are really fun. I felt like garbage. I didn't like the beer and I wanted to go home. And then who did we see after the race? And I felt like I was very...
Tara.
Hi, Tara. I'm sorry if I seemed cranky.
Tara Wagner?
Yeah.
I don't know. She was in a Rise and Run shirt.
Okay, yeah.
She was.
She was
oh, that's funny. Oh my
she was the one that was on our Zoom when we we're doing
virtually live.
But she came up to us and was super nice, and all I wanted to do was sit down. So I was not.
So we're sorry that Diana is
not in a great place. I almost recorded another video, but I didn't want a repeat of what I did after when I ran Baltimore last time.
Oh, God.
Oh, my gosh.
Where I told everyone to quit running because it was stupid.
Oh, yes.
Right. So if you had to give the Baltimore 10 miler a grade
on what things?
Overall experience, A through E.
A through E. Overall experience, I would say a C. Well, yeah. Because the packet pickup is super easy. It was nice. They typically have good swag. This year they had a bag and a t-shirt. A lot of times they've given towels out in the past, jackets. So there's usually a good swag for it. Mm-hmm. The after party is always really fun. We used to hang out at it for a long time. I was just cranky this year.
I do feel like we didn't give NCRC its due. I didn't really want to spend a lot of time on it because we had recapped it last year. I will want to give out a shout out to the race director though. Last year, I know he was stressed out because the medals last year were not great,
not
and
what
he was
expected. Yeah,
super embarrassed, and he actually posted a couple times that he was still mortified that by last year's medals. This year he came out super strong with some beautiful medals. If you're in the Raleigh Cary area,
the triangle,
if you're looking for a race, a half marathon or a 10K, it's in Umstead. It's a beautiful race. He does a great job. It's small. It's on dirt gravel road for the most part.
Yep.
And And I wanted to just reiterate that because we kind of glossed over his race, and I didn't want to do that totally.
Tons of aid.
I definitely do recommend that race.
Yeah, there's like aid.
It's a very small race though. Like when you're talking about grading from like expos and stuff like that, there's none of that. It's a small town race. You pick up your race packet at like Fleet Feet, or last year I was at a different run store. It's at a run store. You're in and out. The end gives a nice cotton t-shirt or tri-blend t-shirt. And again, the medal was fabulous this year.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Michael, I'm kind of curious. This says segment the worst.
So you know how we started this show in the height of COVID lockdowns?
Yes.
And
yes,
we were trying to be positive about everything.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
Here we go. This is
over.
awesome.
This is it.
Whatever this is awesome.
Is it just me complaining about Baltimore races? If I had to grade the Baltimore 10-miler on the course, it would be an F.
On the course.
And one more thing. They did not properly mix the Gatorade. So a couple times they were like, hey, that Gatorade's really strong. And then you take a sip of the Gatorade and feel like you were going to die. It was just straight mix.
Yeah. That can be rough. I've definitely come across that in the past for sure.
That's why I now make it a habit of grabbing a water and a Gatorade no matter what station we go. Like even at this race, even though I looked at it, I could tell that it was like light blue, but I was still like grab water, and then I like kind of do a pour mix thing.
Yeah, I will say NCRC had aid every 2 miles.
Oh yeah,
it's like a great. They really do a great job.
Yes,
yeah,
agreed.
But so we did let's be happy, go lucky, and do something good, and what we're running for. This is not that.
Oh God.
So I have right now I have 8 questions.
Awesome.
It's kind of like a runner studio for all of us, but of all the worst things.
Oh, okay.
All right. So who's going for? Are we going alphabetical?
Sure.
Okay,
Sure.
we'll do alphabetical. Okay. Least favorite movie of all time.
Least favorite movie of all time.
Worst movie of all time.
Oh God, I hate a lot of them.
Worst. Gotta go with worst.
The Matrix.
Oh,
Oh.
stop
Fair.
it.
That's fair.
Here's the thing. We're not going to debate. No, we're not going to debate
Can't defend
each other's.
it.
We're not going to debate each other's answers. However, I'm strongly opposed to that one.
It was
I
awful.
would argue that the sequels were far worse.
Thank
You're next.
We're all
We're all answering.
Oh, I love
didn't
it.
know
I love
was
it.
supposed to be thinking about this. I thought that it was like
No, this is off the cuff. Answer.
This is also going to be one of those things where we're going to think about the actual response to this.
Oh yeah, it'll be
30 minutes after we hang up.
Exactly,
So apologies if we offend anyone.
You're taking too long.
I know.
Answer.
I don't know. I'm my brain's going through a catalog of movies, and they're all good movies. Because
Midsommar?
oh God. No, I mean, I don't know. That's the worst movie I've ever seen. It was the most bizarre movie.
I love Midsommar, but
and was not expecting it. And half the movies by M. Night Shyamalan, Ding Dong.
Oh, I hate that.
That's a house divided right there. My answer.
Avatar.
Okay, you said Avatar.
Yeah, Avatar. It's the only movie I ever wanted to walk out of the theater while I was seeing it.
How have you never heard this?
I think I knew. No, I knew that. I knew that.
Yeah.
Is it that Tom Holland movie you made me watch and we got a huge fight about it?
Oh, the one. Oh,
the devil.
Yeah.
Oh.
The devil something.
Yeah.
The real answer is the movie called Tammy, starring Melissa McCarthy. That is an awful movie.
Yeah, that's fair. I never saw it, but I could imagine.
Hot take.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure I'll think of a million terrible movies in a little while. What was the one with Halle Berry? I'm trying to think of all the terrible horror movies.
Gothica.
Oh my God, that movie was awful.
All right, I have Avatar, and Tom has Tammy.
Sure.
I like it how Michael's worst movie earned like $1 billion.
I know. It's
It's horrendous. It is so bad.
There's all sorts of like. There's a whole Walt Disney World.
Mine's like one of the top
land.
movies of all time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
hated
true.
it.
Yeah, there you go.
This is very subjective.
It made me root for the corporation to destroy the planet.
Oh my
They
god!
were trying
all right,
to
all right,
get
all right. We're not supposed
unobtainium.
to be debating this. We gotta move on.
All right.
Gotta move on.
Worst song of all time.
Oh, goodness gracious. Is that
Song
Aaron?
you hate.
Aaron, that's you.
Yeah, well, you can start
we're
this
gonna
time.
start
We'll move
differently?
over one
I
each
don't
time.
like music.
Oh,
no,
we don't have to do that.
What? We don't have
Okay,
to do what?
all right. Diana's first then.
Oh, what's
Worst
that
song of all
song that
time.
I do hate? What's that phrase that I hate? The Good Bones. The Good Bones song.
Oh, knee bones connected to the.
No.
No.
No, there's a song called Bones or Good Bones.
Oh, really?
It's like a country song where it's like
yeah. There you go.
There's probably a ton of country music, but the
Yeah.
first song that came to my head was that that She's a Cheerleader song.
Oh, thank you. That's
oh,
one of my
God,
top
I
3.
hate-
That is one of the worst songs ever made.
God.
Thank you for taking that one, because then I will go with that whine song.
Oh, I know one. The rude.
Yeah, why you gotta
Don't
be so rude?
Oh.
Like I wanted the father to kick him out of the house. He shouldn't have been allowed near the daughter to get married because he's such a whiny little.
Yeah, really. Isn't he just yelling at the
Oh, I'm gonna have
dad
to
for not
bleep all
letting me
that.
marry his daughter?
No, he's not even yelling. He's whining at him. Why you gonna be so rude?
That's true.
I don't know, because you're freaking annoying.
I love it. This is fantastic.
Tom, did you tell
God,
us?
there's
what
gonna
your-
be so many. I'm gonna have to bleep so much in this episode.
Oh, it's by Maren Morris. It's called The Bones.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, this is tough. Anything by DJ Khaled,
Oh god.
or
That's fair.
actually anything
That's
by
fair.
I'll say it. I apologize. I don't know that Brittany even listens to this, but Pitbull's awful.
What?
Oh yeah, he's pretty bad.
No.
You've made your entire career off of other people's songs.
He's touring with Ricky Martin and somebody else
And
this
it-
summer.
Yeah, and Enrique
Is he?
Iglesias.
Oh, Enrique
And we're
Iglesias.
definitely
Oh my
going
god!
to that.
Wow, that sounds actually fun. Oh gosh! All right, this one will be easy for Diana.
People are going to be so mad at us.
No,
This is the heel turn.
when we release this, we have to put up some social media and get their feedback
Yes,
on the
we
worst.
need people's worsts.
Yep.
What is the worst race you have ever run?
Worst race I've ever run, the Baltimore Half Marathon.
The Baltimore Half?
That was gonna happen.
It's,
Okay.
it's awful.
For no fault of the mountains, but Rockin' the
Oh.
Knob was
Rockin'
awful.
the Knob.
Oh yeah. See, I don't count like DNFs or anything as the worst race. It has to be like the race itself is bad.
No, everything about Baltimore's awful.
I will say
I honestly like when this is a hard question. Like I'm looking because I have a spreadsheet that has all my races in it.
that's weird.
I don't actually think that any of them were bad. Like I don't like as far as the race is concerned.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
yeah,
Brooklyn
yeah.
Half Marathon was terrible logistics wise to get to and from the start. Because it ends at the boardwalk and begins over in the park, so that was
God.
terrible. And then everything about that race sucked for me. So, and I had to walk the last half of it. So, I mean, I guess I'll just go with the Brooklyn Half.
Yeah, I guess in that way for me, and this is no shot at the race itself, was Marine Corps because we ran through 8 inches of water and then it was 85 degrees after that.
Yeah.
And then-
See, like the worst race could be like it's the course or something, but it could also be like your
Yeah.
experience at
this
the
was
race,
a weather,
right? You know?
related thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Also, I don't like big races anyway.
I think
so it
for
was-
me,
yeah.
it was just the whole experience. The like Brooklyn in general, like we couldn't find a place to park, and then like we had to pick up somebody, and
Oh,
we couldn't
yeah.
find
There's
anyone.
like
Logistics is
hipsters
fair.
everywhere
The
trying to
logistics
gentrify
was
the neighborhood.
like terrible, and then and then you get to the end, and then we stood in a line for the subway for almost an hour to try and get back to
Oh,
our car at
God.
the start for like 2 minutes before we get to the ticket booth. We've been standing in it for an hour, and 2 minutes before we finally get there,
Excuse me.
they're like, "Oh, everyone just get on the train," and we're
Damn.
like, "What? Why were we all standing here trying to buy train tickets when it's free?
Hey,
This is why this is the worst.
The worst.
All right, we got a couple Disney questions now. What is the worst Walt Disney World park?
What?
The worst Walt Disney World park?
Yes, of the 4 parks,
Oh,
what is
man,
the worst? Not
don't
the
make me
water
do
parks. Of the 4, what's the
Ugh.
worst?
Oof.
Okay.
I have a hot take on this one.
I bet.
Can I say like California Adventure a la 2002? Like
Walt
that
Disney
doesn't count.
No,
Walt Disney World.
Walt Disney World?
Of the only 4 park of those 4 parks.
What's the worst? Animal Kingdom.
Mm.
That's my favorite.
I know.
That's my favorite too.
It's hot as hell.
It is hot as hell.
And I get lost. I worked there and I get lost every time I go to that stupid park.
I'm going to say, don't kill the messenger. I'm going to say Epcot. The only reason I'm going to say Epcot is because it's the tale of two cities. Like you could be off and having fun with like the rides and everything, or you could go get blown out around the countries.
Well, no, or you could just look at construction for 5 years. It's never getting done.
It's never ending.
And it's not even that complex of a project.
Oh my God. We were looking at it the other last week, and we were like, I don't understand what is happening and why this is taking this long.
Look, they had a fountain to take down, guys.
Yeah. It's like 5 years later. Like, come on.
Oh my God. Gosh, revolt against me.
I
honestly think that I can do a trip without Magic Kingdom pretty easily.
Wow. Yeah, that's why we're married. Magic Kingdom is the worst.
I think it's the people.
No, you know what it is? Genie Plus has ruined Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, I can see your point. Also, Disneyland is way better than Magic Kingdom, and once you've done both, like Magic Kingdom's never right again.
The problem is you can't wait in a line in Magic Kingdom anymore because everything is long, no matter what, because of Genie Plus.
I think it was always my least favorite though, and I think,
and it's just
I'm always afraid to say that.
Yeah.
But like I never get the most enjoyment out of being out of that park because it's always crowded. It's always everyone else's favorite park, or like it's like the magical like place where all the little kids want to go, and like it's just a lot. It's overstimulation. There's no
there's no way to wind down and enjoy yourself. You can't sneak off to World Showcase and have a few drinks.
Yeah, like I don't know.
Stuck.
I've never loved. I loved like the idea of Magic Kingdom because it's like, you know, the castle, but like in actuality, I think it's my least favorite park.
I'm switching mine to Magic Kingdom. You've sold me.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say Tron kind of sucks.
Oh yeah,
it's like 30 seconds.
Was not impressed by Tron.
Some would argue that 30 seconds is plenty of time. Some, not all, but some.
I mean, if you ride Velocicoaster and then ride Tron, you're like, one is incredibly flaccid and one is incredibly fun.
I maintain Velociraptor is the scariest thing I've ever done. Like the
you feel like you're gonna die. Yeah. Okay.
And I know I've said it before.
We're only through like 3 questions, right?
No,
that was 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. This is the last Disney one. What is the worst restaurant at Walt Disney World?
Ooh.
Oh, hang on.
I'm going with Sci-Fi Dine-In.
See, I thought you were gonna go because I like the food is not good, but I like the vibes there.
Everything sucks there. You got to sit in that freaking car.
Yeah, that's the best part.
You can't even see the people
that you're like.
Who are you, my dad in 1998?
Yeah, but you're watching the same 4 movie clips over and over. You own every bit of media in the world. Get some new movie clips in there.
That's a fair argument. Your move, Disney.
Tom's never been.
Don't go. You'll want to throw everything out of the car and then smash the car because it's so horrendous to eat in. The table's like 12 inches wide.
Where have I
I'm gonna go with overrated, like because I'm going with overrated. California Grill was probably one of the most disappointing meals I've had on Disney property.
Oh,
because it was hyped up so much for me. Like everyone was like, "Oh my God, California Grill, California Grill, California Grill," blah 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 blah. And then I went and I was like, "This sucks."
Oh, we liked California Grill when we went.
I'll go with Casey's.
Yeah.
Oh,
Casey's
okay.
sucks,
And I like
yeah.
it. I like it, but like
my brain didn't go to quick serve, but yeah.
My brain went to
Yeah, that's
the
the one.
times that I've done Casey's, it's like 90 degrees outside, and I get like
Yeah.
that giant chili dog, and I just sit down on the curb.
Yeah.
So it's probably a bad choice at the time. I'm sure
Fair.
it's just fine.
I remembered another one.
The Ronto Roaster place.
No, I
No.
like
Please do
Ronto
not.
Roasters.
How
Get
dare
the
you.
F out of here.
No,
My
Cosmic
gosh.
Rays is the worst.
Oh, that's
No,
perfect.
the Plaza.
the
Oh
Plaza
my
is the
God.
worst restaurant on
So
property.
bad.
The Plaza or Tony's is the worst restaurant, but probably the Plaza. It's
Plaza
awful.
was really bad.
It's literally like if you went to Disney in 1985 and ate dinner.
I got I just got a
Rainforest
burger,
Cafe.
and it was like it was a burger patty with like a piece of iceberg, like
That was the
white, like the
meatloaf, wasn't it? Or
was-
oh no, I got the meatloaf.
You got the meatloaf. I think
Oh,
I got
God,
a
it
burger,
sucked.
and it was like the part of the iceberg lettuce that's like in the center where it gets all
Yes.
like really like that's what was on my
Yeah, it
burger.
wasn't even the good part of the lettuce. It was the whitest part of the lettuce.
Nice.
Bad.
Also, Gideon's is very overrated.
Ooh,
But
overrated.
let's not. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, that's fair. It's not.
you're gonna have
Not for
an
me.
awful lot of
Oh yeah,
unsubscribers after
people
this
get
episode.
very mad about that because I remember
Yes.
when I first met Chris and Violet for the first time, they were waiting in line at Gideon's, and I didn't think
Yes.
it was worth it.
Yeah,
have
mean, you could
told
just go
many
get
people.
the raw Pillsbury dough out of the
Yes.
counter and microwave it for 5 seconds and get the same thing.
Plus,
I think I
feel
put
like
it in my stories when we were posting Melanie's cookies that Gideon's was trash, and everyone was like, "Whoa!"
No, I also just
Or
got in a
I
fight
got
with
a lot
someone
of
yesterday
grease.
about crumble cookies, which is basically like Pillsbury cake batter, like
Yeah.
made into a cookie. It's terrible.
All right, here's a controversial one. Who's the worst person you've ever met?
God, the worst person
the
I've
worst
ever met.
person.
God.
Wow.
Present company excluded, right?
No, you can name. I was gonna put who was the worst host on the show, but I was like, I'll save that one for a later date.
God.
Well, wait to the next 4 Inside the Runner
episodes
Studios coming out.
I don't know. I feel like honestly, guys, I do hate so many people, and when I need them to come into my brain,
I kind of agree with that.
Oh,
Like,
God.
I can think of a bunch of people that like I've probably hated in my life, but like,
I'm trying to think of who I've met that's relatively famous that I hated.
there was this lady in an elevator that was kind of rude to Chris Chiak, and I called her the C word publicly to her
God, that's
face.
right.
It's so embarrassing.
She was probably,
and she's
she's-
probably thinks you're the
and
worst
she probably
human.
thinks I'm the worst.
Oh,
And
my
honestly,
God.
Tom thinks I'm the worst for doing that. But if you don't act like one, I won't call you one.
Uh,
Oh.
can I change my
Go for it.
I got nothing.
I'm trying to think.
You came up with these questions. How do you not have answers already?
I didn't think about it. There's so many
Just
people.
like the worst person?
Yeah, worst person you've ever actually met, physically met.
It's really hard because we also don't get political on here. I met Ron Jeremy one time.
Oh, he's pretty awful.
Like,
Pretty
yeah.
awful.
15
You have a
years
photo
ago,
with
right?
him.
Did he die?
He's not dead.
I think he's dead.
He looks
I
like
think
it
he's
though.
dead.
He's not
No, I
dead.
think he just died
I
recently.
think he died.
Ron Jeremy did not die.
Yes, he
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, he did. He was
No, he-
also accused of many.
Yeah, I know.
many,
He's a
many
terrible
sexual
human being.
assaults, Yeah,
So
that's
that
probably
your-
that works as the worst. That's pretty good. That's a good worst one. That's
Alright.
very fair.
I'll go with Ron, but I'm pretty sure he's not dead.
No, I'm
he's
pretty
still,
sure he's
still
dead.
alive.
Is he?
He's still alive.
He should be dead.
Wow.
He should be.
Wow. This is the worst. This is great.
I can't even think of one. I'm gonna say it's the guy I almost got into a fight with in the parking garage in Old City because the traffic wasn't moving in front of me, and he started beeping to me, and so I yelled out the window, "Hey, what do you think you're doing?"
My God, there's so much editing that's going to happen
It's
to happen
so
in this episode.
bad.
Yeah, but he edits
And
it.
then when I started yelling at him, he backed and he was like, "Wait, why are you he's like, "Oh, whoa, it's okay." I'm like, "Oh, you're the one beeping. Like, what what are we doing here?"
Oh my God.
It was like New Year's Eve. Connor was with me. My dad was with me. almost got in a fight in a parking garage.
Yep. That'll do it.
And then I could be the worst person that guy met.
Yeah.
Probably.
All right.
I'm just gonna say that the worst person I've ever met is somebody that I frequently deal with, and I'm not going to publicly name that person. I apologize to the
It's
people.
me.
Yeah, one of the worst people I ever met was somebody I worked with, but that was a long time ago. Let's see.
I didn't say I work with them. I said I deal with them every day.
I said that's what I said though.
Oh, okay.
I'll do this as the final one. What is the worst podcast you have ever listened to?
The Team Shenanigans podcast was pretty awful.
You're such a liar.
Hated it.
Oh my God.
See, my problem is I listened to so many those awful true crime podcasts that people made and did investigations themselves. I listened to so many of them, mostly because I really love the worst ones.
Again.
I will go with the guys from Missing Mara Murray. They were pretty bad. They devolved pretty quickly into a terrible podcast.
What about the second season of Serial? That was pretty terrible.
Well,
pretty bad.
Yeah, Serial's pretty terrible in general. Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people would disagree with you about that one.
I liked the first season.
Here's what I'm gonna say.
I'm not gonna say it's the worst.
No, it's not the worst because it was well produced and all. But how incurious is what's her name?
Look, my favorite thing
This has just
ever.
turned into complaining a lot about a lot of things.
It's fun. They like it. One of the greatest SNL skits of all time was a parody of Serial that they did around Christmas time, where they were searching for Santa and whether Santa existed or not.
And they were trying to
they were
recreate,
like, my producer and I got this sled and just couldn't get it to fly. It was so good.
Oh no! You know what the worst podcast I ever listened to was? That Stalking Richard Simmons one, or Finding Richard Simmons.
Oh my God.
The one where the guy was trying to find Richard Simmons, but basically he just stalked him, and the poor guy was retired and didn't want to be bothered.
Oh my God.
Oh, because there was that conspiracy theory that it was being held against his will or something.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the guy's
he's
just
just
retired. Yeah, he's just retired. Leave him alone. You took his exercise class. That doesn't mean you get to go find him.
Oh, God.
That guy's made money podcasting.
This is basically Michael's dream to rant about stuff. Basically, he created this segment so he could rant about anything he wanted, guys. I just want you to all know what this became and why.
How much of this is actually making the episode?
I don't know. It'll be interesting to find out.
Oh my God. I actually can't even think of the name of the worst podcast I ever listened to. But there's been multiple ones where I start listening to it and then I can't continue listening because it's so bad. And the worst is when audio sucks.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, the content is not great. But then on top of it, you can't understand what anyone is saying.
That was the worst.
I appreciate that.
First episode of the worst.
And if you subscribe to our Patreon, you can get all the content we cut out that's not made for TV, where we actually called people out without bleeping it.
Yes.
Unedited, and then we'll send you a foot pic.
Yes.
Oh God, no, stop.
Yep.
Move on.
All right. So because we just talked about the worst, do we want to wrap up with something good?
Yeah.
Yeah,
we're a very cheery podcast, so we shall do that.
Yes. Our happy stuff. I will kick us off. So I know it's been out for a couple of weeks, but if you have not, please go see The Little Mermaid and go see it in theaters because it deserves to be seen that way. It's the best, I think, of the live actions that they've done so far. Halle Berry is the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. The new songs are great. Yeah, I have very little complaints. No, I think it was wonderful and I loved it. And it's not a shocker that I cried throughout it. But yeah, new songs are great. And I know it's very trendy and cool now to hate on Lin-Manuel. People are crapping on him on TikTok, but I still love him. And I think his new songs are great. And people don't like Scuttlebutt, but
I do.
It's an earworm. So Get after it.
My something good is there is a new Foo Fighters album, which is basically a very long tribute to Taylor Hawkins, but it's really good. Like, it's a solid album.
Michael and I went back and forth on who was going to do which one. So
we'll see which one I'm allowed to do.
It's not about which one you're allowed to do. I just said because I'm Asian, I should take beef. But
there you go.
But I actually,
like
I want to. I mean, we may have even used this or something good on our last episode because it's been out for a little while. The second season or the last season of Ted Lasso.
Yeah, but it's finished.
Yes, but it's finished now. I'm just saying.
So great. It was
that
so good.
I am still not sure I'm over the end. It was one of the best endings of a show.
Agreed.
And like the anticipation of the end of a show kind of gives me anxiety because it can go either way. Like, are they going to leave too many things unanswered? Are they going to like leave it feel good? Are they going to leave it like hanging? Are they going to like ruin everything that they've built up all of this time? But it was such a beautiful tribute to what they'd already done. And I loved every second of it. And I know people had like some issues with this last season, but I did not. I thought this last season was spectacular. I thought they hit it out of the park. And the last 15 minutes of the previous episode, like I just sobbed through. And then probably about halfway through this episode and on, I just was a mess.
Yeah.
So thank you to everyone who created that show because it was amazing. Beautiful, feel good.
At one point I was crying and I looked at Tom and I said, I don't even like sports, like through my tears. Like
I don't even like sports. Oh,
yeah.
Amazing.
It was so good. And I agree. Like I did see a lot of conversation around season 3 and whether people were like liking it or not liking it. And I don't know. I loved season 3.
I did too.
Yeah.
I thought they did an amazing job in every episode.
Yep.
I feel like the only real complaints I saw were from media types complaining about it.
Yeah.
I have a couple of people who said that they had like issues with certain episodes.
Well, I mean,
and I don't want to spoil too much just because it is still somewhat, it hasn't even been a full week since it came out.
It wasn't like perfect or anything. Like there were some storylines that they could have done better.
Oh yeah, I have some complaints about how they did.
But I think overall, it was very good.
Some of the redemption stuff for
people.
But like I just.
But
overall, I think that it stayed true to its spirit of what Ted Lasso was.
Yep.
And I don't know.
Agreed.
Just super feel good.
I also know, like, what is it, season 2, where they have the beard episode where it's just kind of beard and night out.
Yeah.
Like, I know that episode was really divisive, and I loved that.
So did I, actually.
So even there were certain episodes of season 3 that kind of felt like that. So I don't know. For me, season 3 felt consistent with the other seasons.
Yeah.
Well, I think that part of it was that so I know in season 2, they ordered extra episodes at the last minute. And so that's why Beard got that bubble episode, because that was one of them. And then that Christmas episode was another, like, was an add-on. Yeah. So I feel like they knew how many episodes they were having this year, but I like that they still did a couple, like, kind of more bubble episodes.
Yeah.
Because I sort of feel like that stays kind of consistent into that same, like, and you get to know an individual character in a way that you didn't know them before.
Yeah.
And I guess I'll pick Beef on Netflix, which was
amazing.
Super fun.
I mean, I don't know if I would say it was fun.
It was intense.
It was super fun.
It was good.
It was hilarious. So it was hilarious to start, and then it turned.
Yeah, I mean, it's a commentary on like a lot of things in like how the like, you know, the way of the world at the moment. I think. Obviously, I appreciate it because it's an all Asian cast for the most part. I shouldn't say all because obviously, what's her name? What's her name? Tony. What's her name?
No.
No. What? Mara. What is her name? Bella something.
Maria Bello.
Maria Bello. Is that her name?
Is that who that was?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm like, I can't think of her
She's
name.
from Philly. You should know her name.
Was in it, but like, played in the extreme of extreme characters.
Yeah.
But I appreciate obviously the Asian cast, kind of the focus on mental health within the Asian community.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The acting was phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
So
It was so
good.
good.
Phenomenal.
Oh my God. Just
Over the top, wacky.
Yeah. Yep. That's good. I love
Anger management.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it does a great job because, I mean, I would say, like, wacky, but you can't say wacky without, like, also using the word intense for people, like,
It's definitely
don't go
intense.
in thinking,
it's
going to be like a wacky comedy, because
Yes.
that's not what it is. Like,
not at all.
No.
It's unhinged is what it
It's
is.
Unhinged
Yes,
might be a better
unhinged
word.
is good. That's a perfect description. It is unhinged. Yes.
Like, there are certain parts where I was, like, uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
But I think,
sure.
and you're meant to be though.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that's the whole thing.
Yes.
It's like you're meant to be uncomfortable.
Oh God, yeah. Especially, the panic room scene was like,
Oh,
whoa.
my
Yeah.
God.
I did not expect that. But anyway.
Oh my God, that was like, whew.
Oh, yeah, and Ashley Park from Emily in Paris.
Emily in Paris. Yep. Comic hijinks and repressed despair is how it was. It was described in one of the articles I was reading. I was like, there was perfect like commentary words that I couldn't think of.
Yeah, that's
it's like hijinks and repressed despair.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening. We really do appreciate you sticking through because we know this one took a couple turns. But we appreciate you all, and I'm going to leave you with a quote,
of course,
from our friend Theodore Lasso. Because this podcast is all about setting challenges and trying to achieve those challenges. And Ted reminds us that taking on a challenge is a lot like riding a horse, isn't it? If you're comfortable while you're doing it, you're probably doing it wrong.
That is true.
We'll talk to you later.
Believe.